Hello, I hope you're doing well today. My name is Ian Green, and I'm the musician for Music Dreams and also for Ian J. Green, two different artist profiles you can find wherever you stream your music. And it's my pleasure today to be working through Unit 13, which is on the topic called transposition. Now, transposition is a very interesting topic and is something that is a part of the later parts of this really great book called Intermediate Elementary Music Rudiments by Mark Sarnecki. This book, as I've described before in other tutorials in this series, is a really helpful book for any intermediate students that are looking to master the various aspects of music theory to help support them while they're learning their pieces. Let's go over to the transposition chapter, and I will describe a little bit about what transposition is and also how to work through some of the questions in this book. Today we're going to be looking at page 98 in this book. Transposition involves writing or playing music at a different pitch or in a different scale. So here we will learn how to transpose a melody from one scale to another. To transpose a melody into a new key, first of all, we need to know what the original scale is, because then we know and have all the information we need to take that melody and place it into a new key. Now, something that's very important when we think about transposition is that when we transpose a melody from one scale to another, we're not composing or creating a melody. What we're doing is copying it from one place into another, from one scale into another. So if we start and transpose a melody from the scale of G major into another key, the melody has to be exactly the same. Now you heard Ba Ba Black Sheep twice. The first time I played it in the scale of G major, the second time I played it in the scale of B major. So in the scale of G major, we have one sharp, and this material is written right here on the top of this page. Now, when we want to go into the scale of B major, we have to now rewrite the melody into that new key and also the new scale. So now we're going to be I'm going to play the same melody using 5 sharps, which is the key signature of B major. Now, the interesting thing here is that there's a relationship between these two scales. They are not related whatsoever in the sense that there are very few notes that are the same, but there is a relationship between the distance between how the notes are transposed. We start off on a G, the tonic, in the first example, but in the second example, we start off on a B. Now, these two notes are a major third away from each other. So you could say that the scale of G major with one sharp is a distance of a major third away from the scale of B major. So by determining the original scale, the key of G major in this case, and then if going up a major third above G, we get to B major, then we can basically translate all of the material from the scale of G major into the scale of B major and create correct answers for each of the notes that are written. Now, if we compare the notes between the two examples, you can actually see that each example is going to be slightly higher when we rewrite or redo the melody in the new key. That's kind of neat, isn't it? And that's essentially the magic or the power of transposition. The melody sounds the same, but it's played in a different place. And the difference in one place to another is the interval relationship between the original scale and the new scale we're going to be going to. That's going to be part of the tutorial today, is how to unpack this and then how to transpose melodies from one key to another. So you can see how, if we start off in the scale of G major, the tonic note is G. But if we want to go to B, we know that the interval G to B is a major third. So then, if we want to rewrite that melody into B major, we are going to be rewriting in the B scale of B major the same melody as we originally had in G, but it's going to be up a major third. So all the rest of the notes are going to be in that new key. So we can call that transposition at the interval of a major third, which means we start off in the key of G, we go up, and we play all the melody notes in the key of G originally. But then we transpose everything up a major third, and then now we're in the new key of B major. If a melody contains only accidentals, then we want to transpose the accidentals as well. Or if it does contain accidentals, we want to change the accidentals as well. So you want to think about what the accidental would be in the context of the new scale. So sometimes if you're going from a flat scale to a sharp scale, or from a scale with fewer sharps to more sharps, sometimes you have to change the accidental in order to fit that new scale. So if a scale that you're writing a melody in has sharps in it, but then we go to a scale with flats in it, sometimes we might have to use natural signs or something else different than the original example. Here's an example of a piece in the scale of B flat major, going to the scale of C major. So we start off in the scale of B flat major with two flats, but in the second bar we have an E natural, which means we raise that E flat up a half step. Now if we were to transpose this into a new key, such as C major, now we have to use a different symbol to raise that note. We have to use a sharp. So depending on what the scale is that you're using, it's important to recognize what the key signature is and also how the notes will possibly change depending on what you have to write. Now, something that we want to do is also know that when we transpose from one interval to another, we are going to be naming first the original scale, but then we want to think about the interval of relationship of the new key that we're going to be going to by using the tonic note of the original scale and then finding the interval of distance to the tonic note of the new scale. Then we would rewrite the melody in that new scale. Let's do a couple of examples together to work through this and help, as they say, unpack this information. So we're going to be working on the first example in the scale of D major, two sharps. But it says here, transpose this melody up a perfect fourth and name the new key. So now what we want to do is think of the scale of D major and go up a fourth from the tonic note, which would be D. So if we go over to the piano and we count up a fourth from D, a perfect fourth above D is G. So the new scale is going to be the scale of G major. And because we're going to be going up, we're going to rewrite the melody, but now with the new scale, with the time signature as well. But the first note is going to be a G, because it's a fourth above the original note. Then everything else is also going to be a fourth above as well. I'll just do the first couple of notes in this example, just to get us started. And then if you compare each of these different notes, you can see how they all will be a fourth above. Because we know that the intervallic relationship between the original scale, D major, up a fourth is G major. So then all the notes, after we write the correct key signature and put the transposition spacing of each of these new notes, will contain an interval distance of a fourth. Now, when we want to go back to transpose the melody up a different interval, We want to go back to the original melody first in order to create the new melody here. So what we want to do now is go back to D major, and then it says transpose up a minor third. So what we want to do is now think of the tonic note of D major, which is D, and go up a minor third to find the tonic note of the new scale. So a major third would be F sharp, but a minor third would be F. So now we're going to be going to the new scale of F major. So now let's rewrite that with the key signature and the time signature and then the first couple of notes just to get us started. Of course, I encourage you when you're working on the homework to finish off the whole line. But for now, just due to being efficient with our time, the aspect here is just to master this happy new idea and to get comfortable with it. Now you can see here, the first note is D in the original melody, but now we go up a minor third to F. The next note is F sharp, and that's up a third to A, and then so on. Every note, including every rhythmic value, dots, half notes, quarter notes, whichever detail you have, it also needs to be rewritten in the new key as well, so then you're transposing the melody correctly. So the most important thing when thinking about transposing a melody from one key to another is to practice first knowing what the original scale is of the original melody. Then we're going to be going up or down, depending on the distance of the notes, to a new key. But please also note that if the original melody is a major scale, the new melody will also be a different major scale. The quality of the scale will be the same. We're not going to be going from a major scale to a minor scale because we'll be changing the notes and doing a different melody than original. Whenever we do transposition, we are basically recopying a melody into a new key. So I hope this tutorial was helpful. Thank you so very much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Until then, bye for now.